What's up guys, it's Inteltech Studios here, and this is a quick little PSA video. So this, as you can see, is a Dyson DC33 multi-floor vacuum cleaner. Actually, it's supposed to have like a sticker on the bin, but apparently it's missing. Look at this. You see all this? All this white stuff? All this white powder? That is coming out of this cyclone assembly. You ever wonder what this white carpet fresh powder actually does to your vacuum? Well, let me give you a hint. It's not pretty. We can see, you see this? That is the intake for the filter. This carpet powder is such a fine material that in this multi-cyclonic bagless vacuum, the entire cyclone assembly is completely clogged with this powder. Because this powder, it's fine, but it bulks up very easily. It can thicken, it can harden inside cyclone assemblies like this. And I've been sitting here tapping this out for a while, and there's still stuff coming out. So the only way I'm going to get every bit of powder out of this is I have to completely disassemble this cyclone assembly and wash it out. And it's probably going to clog my drain too. You see all this powder that came out of this cyclone assembly. Very little of it was actually in the bin. So that means the majority, if not easily the majority, of this carpet powder went through the bin, did not end in the bin like it's supposed to. It went into the cyclone assembly, through the cyclone assembly, you can see the white powder, and into the filter housing. Do we see any white particles here? Thankfully we don't. Don't really see any white particles here. So thankfully, in the case of this particular vacuum, that stuff didn't get into the motor. So that's good. If we take a look at the HEPA filter, pull this out, we don't see any carpet fresh. We don't see any carpet fresh here. So thankfully, it did not get into the motor. But, see how soiled this filter is? All of that powder completely clogged this filter. Completely plugged up this filter. Now, all of this has to be washed. I gotta find a way to clean out this tube, which is not easily removable. And as well as all of this ductwork, every single part of this machine now has to be, look at that. Every single part of this machine has to be completely disassembled. Thankfully the motor doesn't, but everything else has to be disassembled and pulled apart. And this Dyson, this DC33 also needs, looks like it also needs a new clutch assembly. And it needs this lower hose to be flipped because it's not maintaining proper contact with the floor, as well as just an overall clean. So this is a little PSA. And again, you can see that entire tube is full. This cyclone assembly was not able to do its job. And that's not necessarily a fault of this particular vacuum cleaner. This is nothing about this particular brand. This is just saying that these bagless vacuum cleaners are not designed to handle this carpet cleaning powder. And you should never use this carpet cleaning powder with any bagless machine, and you definitely shouldn't use it with any paper bagged machine, because a machine with a paper bag will just clog up and lose suction. However, that's still better than this, because in that case, you can throw out the bag and keep going and vacuum up the rest of the powder. So what? So The worst thing to use to vacuum up this carpet fresh powder is a bagless vacuum cleaner. Doesn't matter what brand, doesn't matter what. The only thing is, the worse the vacuum is, the worse it's going to be destroyed by this powder. Because in a machine like, let's say, the Bissell PowerForce Helix, one of the more popular budget bagless machines on the market that has god-awful filtration, that is going to completely wreck the motor. If you use this stuff in that machine, it would be blowing out of the exhaust, meaning that it's putting all these particles back into your room and into the air you breathe and back onto your carpets. And in the process, you're also killing your vacuum cleaner because all that dust is going through the motor and killing the motor. So don't use this carpet fresh stuff, please. And if you're going to use it, use a bagged machine with a HEPA cloth bag. So don't use any bagless machine. Doesn't matter what brand, don't use any bagless machine. And ideally, don't use a bag machine with a paper bag. Let me show you what that example is as soon as I wipe all this stuff off my hands. So, something like this. Well, probably not the best example. Move this out of the way. Something like this. This is a machine with a HEPA cloth bag in it. Now this is a commercial machine, but the point still stands, whether it's a commercial machine or a domestic machine. This has a HEPA cloth bag. This HEPA cloth bag is what you should use if you absolutely must vacuum up this carpet fresh type powder, because this will actually maintain the suction, and all of those particulates, any that don't reside in the hoses, will be trapped in the bag and will not go into the filter or into any other internal ductwork, unlike this. So there's a quick PSA. Don't vacuum up carpet fresh powder. And if you do, again, doesn't matter what brand, use a machine that has a HEPA cloth bag in it. Because that is the only way that you're going to be able to vacuum this up without it completely killing your vacuum. Whether it permanently actually causes damage or just causes it to lose suction and not clean as well, and therefore not pull up the carpet powder, thus defeating the purpose anyways. So yeah, if you want to clean your carpet, get an actual carpet cleaner, like a Hoover Steam Vac, a Bissell Pro E2X Revolution, something to that effect. And this sort of stuff is not what you want to use in a bagless machine. Again, you can use it in a paper bag, but it may lose suction and it may still get a little bit into the filters. But whatever you do, do not use a bagless machine to clean up carpet maintenance powder. So that was just a quick little video. And, or not a video, well, I guess it was a video, but that was a quick little piece of advice, sort of a public service announcement for those in the cleaning industry, I guess you could say. Well, not really. Just average consumers who wouldn't know about this stuff. Which is understandable, because I used to use this stuff too, until I realized what havoc it wreaks on your machines. And now I have to completely strip apart this Dyson in what otherwise could have just been a pretty simple tune-up. But I have to completely pull this thing apart and wash all of these components in order to get it back to looking in decent condition. And that's no fault of the person who gave this to me, because the person who gave this to me, she's a great friend. And I gave her the pet hair eraser. So she owns the pet hair eraser now. And I'll tell you, the pet hair eraser would fare even worse than this machine would have. So I will be sure to let her know to not use this material in the Bissell, otherwise it will destroy the machine. And in that case, since she's a good friend of mine, I will simply tell her, if you ever need to use some of that stuff again, then let me know, and I'll bring over one of my machines that can actually handle this. Anyways, this is Intelitech Studios signing out with a quick public service announcement regarding using carpet cleaning maintenance powder in any bagless or certain types of bagged machines. Anyway, guys, this is Intelitech Studios signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully this video was helpful, and hopefully some of you can relate to this. And hey, if you're a vacuum repair technician like myself, feel free to leave some fancy stories in the comments below about nightmares regarding this type of, whatever you call this, gross powder. So feel free to leave your nightmares in the comments below so we can all laugh at them and feel a sense of, my mind just went blank. Sense of community for having to deal with all this nastiness. Anyways, this is Intelitech Studios signing out. I've said that like 3 times now, and have a good one.